Are You Afraid of the Dark returned in 2019, but to me, the classic series will always be the best one. Right now on Verve, classic episodes from the 90s of Are You Afraid of the Dark from Nickelodeon are available. Try it for free today, vrv.co/geekdom. Try it for 30 days for free. The link is down below. So I want to start this off by saying this. I have been a fan of Sonic the Hedgehog since I was 7 years old. Sonic the Hedgehog is the reason why I even bought a Sega Genesis, aka Mega Drive in other parts of the world. Sonic the Hedgehog has been a character that has followed me throughout my entire life. I've played all the original Sonic games, 1, 2, 3, Sonic Spinball, Sonic CD. I played Sonic Adventure on the Dreamcast 1 and 2. On top of that, I watched the old cartoons. I have been a fan of Sonic for a while. I've even looked through some of the comics in the past, which are of quality. And I was very much dreading this movie. Not because of the trailer that had that really weird looking Sonic when it first came out that they actually went back and changed for the movie in the second trailer, but because historically, let's keep it real, video game movies, video game adaptation films are not very good. A lot of them are garbage, not because they don't follow the story of the game, because when you do one of these movies, you don't have to follow the exact story of the game because a lot of times games are too long. You can't adapt Metal Gear Solid into a whole movie without it being a big 3-hour movie. You're still going to cut some stuff out. Game storylines in many cases are way too long, so you can't put the whole story in, but if you have enough of the story, or if you take inspiration from the story and you show respect to the source material, that's what makes me happy. Sonic the Hedgehog 2020 is not only a good movie, I never thought I would be saying this after watching the trailer. Not only is it a good movie, it's a very, very good movie. Not perfect, but Sonic the Hedgehog will stand as, believe it or not, a great video game adaptation film. I went to go see an early VIP screening of the film. This is my non-spoiler review for Sonic the Hedgehog. Let's talk about the movie. The film it's not perfect, but it's a lot better than we all would have expected. I mean, if you grew up a fan of the original Sonic games on Genesis and Dreamcast and whatnot, you are going to like a lot of things about this film. I'm telling you that right now, because the film constantly, from the very beginning of the movie all the way to the credit scene, is a big love fest to the classic Sonic games. They reward you for being a Sonic fan. They don't make fun of you, and this review, the reason why I even opened up the review by talking about my history with Sonic is because I want you to know that I'm an actual fan of Sonic the Hedgehog. I'm not some goofball critic who thinks he's too good to play video games. That's never been me. I'm a real dude and a real fan, but I will judge the movie objectively. I'm not trying to be a fanboy here. I have to look at the movie with, of course, a skeptic's eye and be honest with you guys, while also telling you why I think you would or would not like it. This is a family film, okay? But this movie is so well done. Imagine if the studio came to one of us, you or me, as Sonic fans, and said, hey, can you make a movie about what it would be like if Sonic the Hedgehog came into our world, came into our reality? And this is the movie that came out, and it's actually pretty good. There's going to be parallels to Detective Pikachu. People are going to be comparing these two movies for a long time, maybe even debating about which one is better, but Sonic the Hedgehog was such a pleasant surprise. This movie has so many Easter eggs for Sonic the Hedgehog hardcore fans. From the very beginning when they show Sonic in his world, it's literally like they ripped it out of Sonic the Hedgehog 1. I mean, I couldn't even believe it. And then as the movie progresses and you see kind of the evolution of the character and you see how he behaves, there are little homages and little tributes to the old TV shows. Sonic has lines from the old cartoons, certain things he likes. The character of Sonic the Hedgehog has mannerisms and not just cool moves, but I mean just the way that he kind of acts and behaves and walks and kind of that sassiness that the old Sonic character had. I gotta tell you, freaking Ben Schwartz. I was skeptical of Ben Schwartz playing Sonic because, and just so you know, he does the voice of Sonic and he does the motion capture, because I really love Jaleel White's portrayal of Sonic in the old cartoons. Jaleel White, to me, has always been the voice of Sonic since I was a little kid. But man, Ben Schwartz nails it. Little things like if you've played the games you pick up on, and little homages, to levels of the game. Like, names of certain zones are brought up in this movie. Little things here and there that are kind of done like little nuggets for the hardcore fans, but again, it rewards you. It does not feel forced. It doesn't feel like nostalgia, but there is a ton of nostalgia in the movie. So moving on to the human characters, we have the main character, which is James Marsden plays a cop who is kind of looking to upgrade his life and become a better cop because he lives in a small town called Green Hills. Get it? Green Hill Zone from the first game. I love it. And he basically wants to move to San Francisco to become a big cop, but he kind of, forgets his roots along the way. And the movie does a great job of having Sonic the Hedgehog and James Marsden's character his name is Tom, by the way. They have this sort of buddy cop dynamic, and one of them actually is a cop, and they both learn from each other. They both have adventures together, and they both have this really good character arc that to me actually felt more genuine than Detective Pikachu. But again, we're dealing with James Marsden here, who's a much more seasoned actor, and man, he nailed it. He's funny when he needs to be. He's great. Sonic the Hedgehog's powers, the whole story kind of revolves around the fact that there are enemies in Sonic's realm that want his power, so he gets sent to Earth to protect him when he's a kid, and Robotnik comes along and wants his powers. Now, I do not want to spoil the movie, but Sonic's powers in this movie are a little bit, they're similar to the video games, maybe a little bit more enhanced what he needs them to be, but it really works. This movie, especially the final confrontation, feels like a shonen anime. Like if you're a fan of shonen, and you know that Sonic is not only Japanese, but Sonic is very heavily inspired by Dragon Ball Z. You know this if you're a Sonic fan. There's a lot of shonen sort of moments in this movie, a lot of, things that you watch and you're like, oh, this is like an anime. That's literally how it feels. Now, I want to talk about Dr. Robotnik real quick, played by Jim Carrey. Number one, I am a huge fan of Jim Carrey, have been since I was a little kid. Jim Carrey's career in the last few years has, in my opinion, not been so great. He kind of, I feel like, peaked around the late 90s, maybe early 2000s. I still like the guy, but I also felt like he was kind of, just some bad movies came along. This portrayal of Dr. Robotnik, okay, first of all, if you're going to talk about like negatives about the movie, I am going to say this. Dr. Robotnik in this movie, Eggman, does not behave like he does in the TV shows or in the video games for the majority of the movie. So you have to understand, Robotnik also has an arc. And if you are a fan of the games, this arc pays off at the end. And you see the change in Robotnik from becoming what he is in this movie to the Robotnik in the game. Again, don't want to go into spoilers, but understand that this movie is Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey's not playing Dr. Robotnik. Jim Carrey is playing an evil Ace Ventura. That's pretty much what it is in this movie. He's playing an evil Ace Ventura. He literally brings back jokes from The Mask. And I don't know if it's supposed to be meta, but The Mask, Ace Ventura, and Cable Guy. There's parts in this movie where Jim Carrey behaves like those characters, but just an evil version of it. He's always going around gloating about how smart he is. He's bossing people around the government. He's just a huge prick, and it can get annoying, but to me, being a fan of Jim Carrey, I think it really worked. Now, the visual effects, okay, obviously Sonic is a CGI character, and they did go back and improve on his original look. He does look good in this movie. He looks like Sonic should look. And, of course, we've got James Marsden talking to essentially a CGI character. He's not really there. There's no real talking hedgehog. But to me, it works because not only did I grow up watching movies like, Cool World, Roger Rabbit, Space Jam, and more recently, of course, Detective Pikachu, to me it works here because Sonic is from another realm, from another planet, from another universe, and he's come into our world. He's not going to fit in with the rest of us. He's not going to look like a blue hedgehog. He looks like a blue cartoon hedgehog, anthropomorphic hedgehog, and that's exactly what he is in the movie. So don't expect this movie to be like, a reboot where Sonic is like a mutant like Turtles. No, that's not what happens here. It's way more fitting. They couldn't have Sonic actually be Sonic on Earth, but the way they set it up to where there's different realms and you use the rings to access different realms, the possibilities are endless for what they could do with this franchise if this movie makes money. And those of you who are wondering about a sequel, yeah, look, there's a mid-credit scene. It's apparently leaked out in some places. I'm not going to spoil it for you here, but it is worth staying for the mid-credit. And even the credits themselves are, before the mid-credit, are just beautiful nostalgia being thrown at you. There are music cues. The soundtrack is great. it's not like an epic action soundtrack, but there are music cues and remixes from classic Sonic music. And I love music from the original Sonic games. There's a couple of jingles, not too many, but there's a couple in the movie that you recognize right away. There's also Easter eggs in the background. I saw images from like Sonic CD. I saw stuff from Sonic. There's a scene that's straight out of Sonic Spinball. I couldn't even believe it. Like I totally went into this movie with low expectations, and I came out being so happy. And let me tell you right now, in my showing, it was a private showing. It got a not a standing ovation, but it got a huge applause. And everyone we talked to after the movie loved it. There was nobody who didn't like this movie. The movie got so much love in the screeners. I think this is going to be a movie that people are going to love. Not just kids. Kids are going to like this movie, but adults who grew up with Sonic. It does not disrespect you. It's just a fun little adventure. And I liked it. I liked this movie a lot. I can't believe it. I cannot believe they actually made a good movie. I mean, I've heard, Jeff Fowler directs it. I've heard that he is a real Sonic fan, but you can tell these people actually love Sonic. And to me, this is a thumbs up film. Probably not the best movie of the year at all. It's not a great, this is not Joker or Lighthouse, but as far as a fun movie that's not boring with good characters, it actually has some heart too. Sonic is a complex character when he needs to be. The movie covers loneliness. What's it like to be lonely and not have any friends or have just a small number of friends? Sonic is a very human character, and there's even a line in the movie where Tom tells Robotnik he's more human than you'll ever be. And that was really deep because it's true. Again, a little bit of a different Robotnik, but by the end of the movie, he becomes very recognizable. Overall, this is a thumbs up movie. If you're a gamer, if you like Sonic, you ain't going to be disappointed. I don't think you will. Understand, it's not perfect. They do change what the rings can do. There are some things that were not in this film that are probably going to be left for sequels. Certain aspects of the Sonic world that will be left for sequels. And again, it is a story of Sonic coming into our world, but it works. Seeing Sonic interacting with real like trucks and cars and bikers and cops and all that, it actually works in this movie. I didn't think it would. I really did not think it was going to be good, and it was good. Spoiler review coming soon. Thank you for watching, and leave a like, spread this video out. Again, spoiler review is coming. We'll go into more detail there. I'll talk to you soon.